Vitali covers. Let capital E be any subset of set of all real numbers, and capital J is the collection of intervals in R. We say that this collection J covers this subset E in the Vitali sense if for any given epsilon greater than 0 and any point in E, there exists an interval I in J such that this point is in that interval and length of that interval is less than epsilon. The Vitali cover. What the definition says, let E be any subset of R. J is the collection of intervals in R. J is the collection of interval in R. Then we say that J is covering this E. J is covering this E in the Vitali sense. In the Vitali sense, if whatever the epsilon we are going to select as small as possible and whatever the element I am going to take, in this J, in this collection, there should exist an interval such that that point is in I and whatever epsilon we have selected, according to that, we have to get an interval whose length is less than epsilon. Suppose we have selected epsilon as 0.1, then according to this epsilon and this point, there should exist an interval in this J whose length is less than 0.1 and this point also belongs to I. Then for each and every element in this E and for any epsilon, if I get an interval I such that x belongs to I and length of I is less than epsilon, then we say that J covering E in the Vitali sense. In the Vitali sense. Now the important theorem, lemma, Vitali covering lemma. Vitali covering lemma. Suppose E is a subset of R of finite measure. Suppose J is a collection of intervals in R which covers E in the Vitali sense. Then given any epsilon greater than 0, there exists a finite collection I1, I2, so on, In of pairwise disjoint intervals in J such that outer measure of E minus this union is less than epsilon. What the Vitali covering lemma says, suppose E is any subset of R whose measure is finite. Suppose J is a collection of intervals which is covering E in the Vitali sense. Means J is covering E in the Vitali sense means for any epsilon, whatever the epsilon we are going to select, and for any element in E, there exists an element whose length is less than epsilon. Means for any element there exists an interval in J whose length of that interval is very small. Then I have to prove that for any epsilon there exists a finite collection of intervals in this J, all are pairwisely disjoint, such that outer measure of E minus this union is less than epsilon. Difference between these two outer measure is less than epsilon, we have to prove. Proof. Without loss of generality, we shall assume that J contains only closed intervals. Without loss of generality, let us assume that J contains only closed interval. J contains only closed intervals. If we take an open interval, then we can replace them by the closure of the open interval. What is the closure of the open interval? Open interval with its boundary is the closure interval. That is, again you will get the every closure is a closed interval. Again you will get the same thing. So it does not affect if I take a closed interval or a closure. It does not change. Now, what is a given in the statement? E is a subset of R of finite measure. Since outer measure of E is finite by the statement, then by a known result, already we have proved in the, we get that for any epsilon greater than 0, there exists an open set O such that this E is contained in O and outer measure of O is less than outer measure of E plus epsilon. Already we have proved in the first unit, if outer measure of E is finite, then for any epsilon greater than 0 there exists an open set O such that E is contained in O and outer measure of O is less than outer measure of E plus epsilon. This one holds if E is a measurable. Since E is a measurable, then only we will get outer measure of E is finite. Now, second one. Let X belongs to E. Then E is a subset of O, then X belongs to O, because X is in E and E is contained in O. Since what is O? O is an open set. From the definition of open set, we know that every element in the open set is an interior point. That is, X is an interior point of O, since O is an open set. When I can say that X is an open set, if there exists a neighborhood which is contained entirely in O, then there exists an interval I dash such that X belongs to I dash and this interval is contained in O from the definition of interior point. from the definition of interior point. Now third one. Since J covers E in the Vitali sense, J covers E in the Vitali sense. From the definition of Vitali cover, what you will get? We get that for any x belongs to E, there exists an interval I in J of arbitrary small length such that x belongs to I, which is a subset of I dash, which is a subset of O, I can say. What the Vitali sense says, for any epsilon and for any element in E, there exists an interval in J whose length is so small. Since x is in I dash and from the Vitali sense J is covering E, then in this J I am going to get an interval I which is containing x as well as of small length. Then I is a subset of I dash is a subset of O, I dash is a subset of O. So let us take this one as equation number 1. Equation number 1. Now we construct a sequence In of pairwise disjoint intervals in J by induction on N. I am going to construct a sequence In of pairwisely disjoint intervals in J by induction on N. So first, let us take the first element of the sequence. Let I1 be any arbitrary interval in J. In this J is a collection of intervals. J is a collection of intervals in R. From this interval, collect any arbitrary interval. Let us take that one as I1. Let us take that one as I1. Now, let K1 be the supremum of all lengths of intervals in J which are disjoint from I1. What we will do, as I selected one interval from J, now since J is a collection of interval, from that I have collected an arbitrary interval. Now in the interval J, collect all the disjoint intervals from I whose intersection with I1 is empty. From those disjoint intervals, find the length of all those intervals which are disjoint from I1 and take the supremum length. K1 is a supremum of all the lengths of interval in J which are disjoint from I1. Now choose an interval I2 in J. Now I am going to select another interval I2 in J such that I2 intersection I1 is empty. means I2 and I1 both are empty, and length of I2 is greater than K1 by 2. Length of I2 is greater than. What is a K1? K1 is a supremum of all the lengths. From the disjoint interval, whatever I got from I1, select from any one of that one. That is I2. Therefore, intersection with I1 is empty, and length of I2 is greater than K1 by 2. Whatever the length we got, half of that one, more than that. Let us take that one. Assume by induction we have constructed I1 comma I2 comma I3 comma so on In in this way. First I have selected arbitrary interval I1, then I have took the disjoint intervals with I1 and took the lengths and find out the K1 supremum length. Let J2 I2 be the interval from this disjoint interval whose length is greater than K1 by 2. Similarly similarly I3 is an interval in J which is intersection with I1 and I2 both are empty, means I3 is pairwise disjoint with I1 as well as I2, and whose length is greater than K2 by 2. What is K2? K2 be the supremum of all those lengths of the interval in J which are disjoint from I1 as well as I2. Similarly, so on. Now, choose an interval in plus 1 in J such that this interval is disjoint from all other interval, that is I1 union I2 union so on union In is empty, and length of this interval In plus 1 is greater than Kn by 2. Kn by 2. Is it clear? Therefore, by induction we can construct a sequence In of intervals in J satisfying the following conditions. Whatever we got here, I am writing those things. First one, all the intervals whatever we have got in the sequence are pairwisely disjoint. That is, they are pairwise disjoint. Second one, length of each interval is greater than Kn by 2 for all n is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4. That is, Kn is less than 2 into length of In plus 1 for all n. Now, in this sequence I don't know whether the sequence is finite or infinite. If there exists a finite number of intervals, say I1, I2, so on In, such that E is contained in union n is equal to 1 to capital N In, then our proof is completed. Then the lemma is obvious. How I can say that it is obvious? If there exists a finite number of interval such that E is containing this one, what I have to prove? That there exists a finite collection of pairwise disjoint. Already we have proved there exists a sequence of pairwisely disjoint. If this one is finite intervals in J which should satisfy this one, is this satisfy that one? Let us see. E is contained in this one, means this is a set E which is contained in union of En 1 to capital N. Then in this case, what is outer measure of E minus union N is equal to 1 to capital N En? From this set, from the subset, we have to remove the superset. We can't remove a superset from the subset. What you will get? A empty. Outer measure of empty set is 0, which is less than epsilon. So what we got here? If there exists a finite number of interval such that E is contained in this one, then the lemma is obvious. How? Since outer measure of this one minus this one is less than epsilon. That's the lemma. Otherwise, if we have infinite pairwise disjoint sequence In in J satisfying Kn is less than 2 into length of In plus 1 for all n. Instead of finite, if suppose we have infinite number of terms in this sequence, we have each and every term is contained in open set for all n. Already at the beginning of the proof we have wrote each and every, here there exists an interval in I, arbitrary small length which is contained in O. Each and every In is contained in O. If all In is contained in O, then union n is equal to 1 to infinity. In is also contained in O, since we have infinite number of terms. Now by the monotonicity, outer measure of union n is equal to 1 to infinity In is less than or equal to outer measure of O by monotonicity. This implies since each and every In is pairwisely disjoint, then this one can be written as summation n is equal to 1 to infinity outer measure of In is less than or equal to outer measure of O. Outer measure of any interval is length. Summation n is equal to 1 to infinity length of In is less than or equal to outer measure of O. Since outer measure of any interval is length of its interval. Now what we got outer measure of O in equation number 1? Outer measure of O is less than outer measure of E plus epsilon, less than outer measure of E plus epsilon by equation number 1. Since outer measure of E is finite, finite plus epsilon is finite. Therefore what we got? Infinite sum of the series terms is finite. Therefore summation n is equal to 1 to infinity length of In is a convergent series of non-negative real numbers. Since each term is an length is never negative, so and since this one is less than infinity, what we got, it is an convergent series of non-negative real numbers. Then that is, for any epsilon greater than 0, there exists a natural number capital N such that summation n is equal to capital N plus 1 to infinity length of in is less than epsilon by 5, less than epsilon by 5. Now let us take this one as equation number 2. This one I wrote using the definition of convergence series. For any epsilon, there exists a natural number such that the terms get approaches to 0. The terms get approaches to 0. Now let capital R is equal to E minus union n is equal to 1 to capital N En. Then what we have to prove? Now we prove that outer measure of this one R is less than epsilon, is less than epsilon. So let x belongs to R. Then what is R? This one, x belongs to E minus union n is equal to 1 to capital N In. What is the meaning of this one? X is in E but not in this one. This implies x belongs to E and x does not belongs to the union n is equal to 1 to capital N In. This implies x belongs to E but x does not belongs to this one. What is In? In is an closed interval. Finite union of closed interval is closed, therefore this one is a closed interval. Every element in the closed interval is a limit point, as a limit point. Therefore x is not a limit point of this union. X is not a limit point of union n is equal to 1 to capital N In. How I can say this one? Since union n is equal to 1 to capital N In is a closed set, being a finite union of closed intervals. Therefore this implies x belongs to E and there exists an interval I dash in J such that x belongs to I dash and I dash is disjoint from this union. Since how I can say x belongs to E, and since J is covering E, means each and every element there exists an interval in J which is containing that element and whose length is so small, arbitrary small. Since x does not belongs to this union, means according to J, since J is a collection of interval which is covering E, there exists an interval in J which is containing x and this interval is disjoint from this one. This interval is disjoint from this one, means this interval is not in this one. Here means whose length of this one, whose length is so small that I dash does not meet any of the I1 comma I2 comma so on In. Length of this I dash is so small that I dash does not meet any of this interval. It is totally disjoint from this one. Since what is J? J covers E in the Vitali sense. In the Vitali sense. From the definition, we get that for x belongs to E, there exists an interval. For any element in E, there exists an interval I in J of arbitrary small length such that x belongs to I. X belongs to I. That is, x belongs to I is contained in I dash. Whatever the length I got here for I dash, since J is covering E in the Vitali sense, then I can get an interval whose length is smaller than that one, which is also containing x. Since I dash is disjoint from this one and I is contained in I dash, then I is also disjoint from this interval. Therefore, I is disjoint from union n is equal to 1 to capital N In. 1 to capital N In. Therefore, by the definition of Kn, we get length of I is so small. Length of I is less than or equal to Kn, and from the definition of Kn is less than 2 into length of In plus 1 for all n. Now, since summation length of In is convergent, if summation An is convergent, then limit of An becomes 0. Then length of In plus 1 tends to 0, that is this term An tends to 0 as n tends to infinity. What is implies? As n tends to infinity, length of this interval goes to 0, becoming very, very, very small. Means whatever the interval I here I got of arbitrary small length, this one is going to meet at least one term, at least one interval in the sequence In. Whatever the sequence In we got, in that, since I is arbitrary small length and in the sequence length of In becoming very, very, very small, approaches to 0, then that I will meet at least one of the intervals In. Therefore, the interval I must meet at least one of the intervals In. That is, I has to intersect In for some n. Let n naught be the least positive integer such that I meets in naught. That is, I intersects in naught. What I took, since the length of the intervals approaching to 0 and I is very small length, then this I must meet at least one of the interval in the sequence, at least one of the interval in sequence. That is, I has to intersect in for some n, maybe for all, maybe some, I don't know. Let n naught be the least positive integer such that I meets in naught. I intersect in naught means after this n naught, if I take any interval in the sequence, this I does not intersect. N naught is the least positive integer such that this one intersect. Now note that this n naught will be greater than capital N. This n naught will be greater than capital N. How I can say this one? Since what is n naught? N naught is the least positive integer, smallest positive integer such that I meets in naught. I meets in naught. What is here we got? I disjoint from this interval means I will never intersect with this interval 1 to capital N. Then this n naught, whatever it is, this interval we are going to get, this will be after capital N only. N is equal to 1 to capital N, that is n naught is greater than capital N. N naught is greater than capital N. Since x belongs to I and I is going to intersect with in naught means it has a common point. I has a point in common with in naught, then only it will intersect. Let us take this is I, it containing x. This one is going to intersect with in naught. We get that the distance from this point x to the midpoint of, this is the midpoint of in naught, is at most length of the interval plus half into length of in naught, half into length of in naught, which is less than or equal to what we got, length of I here for all n, length of I is less than or equal to 2 into length of in plus 1 for all n. In naught is also one of the interval, then length of I is less than or equal to 2 into length of in naught, 2 into length of in naught plus this one, half into length of in naught, which is equal to 5 by 2 length of in naught by equation number 2. Let's take this one as 3 by equation number 3. Now suppose Jn naught is an interval and midpoint of Jn naught is same as in naught. Suppose J n naught is an interval whose midpoint is same as this. Both the midpoint of I n naught and J n naught both are same. And length of J n naught is 5 times length of I n naught. That is, length of J n naught is equal to 5 times of length of I n naught. Let us take this one as equation number 4. This one we will take equation number 5. Now, therefore, what we got till now, for any x belongs to R, for any x belongs to R, there exists Jn. How we got here this interval Jn naught? There exists an interval Jn such that x belongs to Jn and length of Jn is equal to 5 times length of In for all n. Therefore, R is contained in union small n greater than capital N Jn, because here what we got here, this n naught is greater than capital N, n greater than capital N, n greater than capital N. Now, outer measure of R. Since R is contained in this one, therefore by the monotonicity, outer measure of R is less than or equal to outer measure of union n greater than capital N Jn. From the countable subadditivity property, less than or equal to summation n greater than capital N outer measure of Jn, which is nothing but summation n is equal to capital N plus 1 to infinity outer measure of Jn. Outer measure of any interval is its length, 1 to infinity length of Jn. But what we got, length of Jn is 5 times length of In by this equation, by equation number 5. Already we have denoted by equation number 5. Now, which is less than 5 into epsilon by 5 by equation number 2, which is equal to epsilon. Therefore, outer measure of R is less than epsilon. Therefore, outer measure of E minus union n is equal to 1 to capital N, In is less than epsilon.